Welcome to your Around the Peninsula. I'm KATUSA Private Eun Chong KATUSA. The Osan passenger terminal welcomes hundreds of active duty and family members each week, but it's not often that a plane arrives carrying only soldiers. Air Force Staff Sergeant Justan explains how airmen at the PAX terminal are helping out the Army.
More than 800 soldiers from Fort Hood deployed to Korea as part of the first 9-month rotational deployment of 2014. Airmen from the 731st Air Mobility Squadron made sure the soldiers' stop at Osan ran smoothly.
With this type of movement, we provide ground handling support. Basically, we provide MHE, which is to download order baggage, and then also provide stairs so the passenger can get off the aircraft.
Really, it's a lot easier with a deployed unit. We're not dealing with different family issues or whatever. The soldiers are used to traveling, so they get on the aircraft. Once they get here, we download them. We take a member of their personnel to assist us with the download, and once again, we expedite their movement on to their end destination.
As with any flight experience, baggage sometimes creates a hassle, but the Osan PAX airmen had it covered.
There was minor issues with baggage, but that was easy fix. And like I stressed, there was very minor issues, if any at all, did not affect the mission at all. I think this is what these kids live for here, our young NCOs, airmen, officers. It's what we do, and we know the importance of it, and we challenge it every day and love it.
Air Force Staff Sergeant Justan, Osan Air Base, Korea.
The rotational combined arms battalion comes to Korea fully trained. There's no doubt that we always have to be ready to fight tonight. KATUSA Corporal Kang Ji-ho is near the DMZ where the readiness never gets weak.
Soldiers make their way through fallen snow in the Joint Security Area, or JSA mock-up range in the Live Fire Complex. It took the United Nations Command Security Battalion and Headquarters Detachment 3 months to get ready for the exercise.
You have to think about all the civilians that we're tasked out to protect. It is our job to react, move up to the Freedom House, and evacuate all the civilians in that location.
With thousands of tourists and VIPs visiting the DMZ every year, soldiers and these soldiers must be certified to protect them. His boss knows that Joint Security Area is safe as long as soldiers like Sergeant Bojarth stand ready to fight tonight.
I think he's just very well-rounded. So he's an infantryman, but he does a lot of other things as well while assigned to this unit specifically.
Absolutely. I think myself and every one of my soldiers underneath me feels that responsibility on a daily basis. We know we stand toe-to-toe with North Korean soldiers, the KPA. We know we're truly in front of them all.
KATUSA Corporal Ji-ho Kang, Camp Casey, Korea.
Look at the security situation right now, Sergeant Bozar. Yes, sir. Never forget that.
More than 80,000 people tour the DMZ a year. The Purple Heart is awarded to members of the U.S. Armed Forces who are wounded by the enemy. Senior Airman Brandy Dirr tells us why a soldier received the award at Camp Jackson.
With a grade point average of 97.44%, is Specialist Bryan Thomas, 2ID.
This is Camp Jackson's newest graduating Warrior Leader course.
Today is not only a special day for the graduating class, but it's a special day for Staff Sergeant Thompson.
Got to see Sergeant Thompson get his Purple Heart. It looked like it was a pretty memorable experience for him and for me as well as a young soldier, seeing a staff sergeant that went through an experience like that.
Conducting route reconnaissance and clearance operations in the Diyala province, Iraq, when his striker, Headquarters 52, was struck by an IED, injuring him and 2 others.
It's really hard to go back to that day and relive that day, because now I realize it's just that I'm carrying on their memories. They would want good. So that's one of the reasons I really wanted to instruct and show that knowledge or teach.
Grade of non-commissioned officer!
By sharing his experiences, he will be leaving more than a memory with his students.
It makes me think about what we actually fight for, and seeing how he practiced resiliency and being able to bounce back from something like that and still can keep his composure and his professionalism and his dedication to the military. It's an outstanding achievement.
Back then, it wouldn't have meant so much, but to share it with the students, it let them see, you know what, this is my instructor. I think it leaves a good memory with them.
Senior Airman Brandy Dirr, Camp Jackson, Korea.
The Warrior Leader course at Camp Jackson is the only one available to the Korean Peninsula. You don't have to go off base to experience an authentic Korean cuisine. Specialist Derrick Ramey shows us how service members come together at one local restaurant on post.
If you're craving some Korean food but can't make it off base, then the KATUSA snack bar is your best bet. The food is cheap in price, but in no means cheap in quality, which brings in a lot of customers right around lunchtime. Even though there's a lot on the menu, today I'm getting dolsot bibimbap.
The most popular menu item is dolsot bibimbap, maybe because it's a health food. My son is a soldier too, as like most of our customers in our restaurant, so I feel great whenever I meet them in our restaurant, and I'm so happy that they enjoy our food.
Originally designed for KATUSA soldiers, the KATUSA snack bar is one of the first opportunities American soldiers have to try out Korean food.
It's a good place where I can introduce Korean dishes to my peer U.S. soldiers and also my NCOs, so that's why I love using this place.
I got the bibimbap, it's great.
Now the only way to eat bibimbap is to mix it up. So while it's still hot, grab a spoon and stir it. All right, this is looking good. I got my beef in there, the veggies, the rice, the eggs, chili pepper paste. So if you're looking for some Korean food that's close, cheap, and tasty, come and check out the KATUSA snack bar. Specialist Derrick Ramey, Yongsan, Korea. Good.
The KATUSA snack bar can get pretty crowded during lunch, so make sure you get there early to get a table. Bombs and other explosives can cause a lot of damage, even when they don't go off. Staff Sergeant Chris Bevins introduces us to one airman at Kunsan who goes looking for trouble.
It could be very realistic. You never know what the enemy has in store for us.
Staff Sergeant Danny Yager doesn't normally walk around with flags and caution tape.
Bar 2 clubhouse.
But this workday is different. Today he's part of a post-attack reconnaissance team for an exercise at Kunsan Air Base, and he's looking for bombs.
When we came around the corner, we saw heavy black smoke, which is a pretty good indicator that there may be a hazard in the area. So when we called it in to our UCC clubhouse, we have smoke on the south side of Building 1000. They told us to proceed with caution, and that's when we discovered the UXO. When we started our 9-line reporting.
It's a small mortar, C9.
That's telling all the information we possibly can about the UXO and the location and size. Once we did that, we had to cordon off the area. Cordoned, we will begin to cordon using caution tape and flags to do a 300 feet perimeter around the UXO to make sure nobody entered that hazardous area.
Unexploded ordnances like this could go off at any time, so it's vitally important to find and mark them for disposal. Even though it's all pretend, Staff Sergeant Yager understands the focus is on the bigger picture.
Exercises are important to make sure we're prepared. I mean, you never know when the real thing is going to happen. So you got to make sure you're on your P's and Q's and you have everything under control and you know what to do in that situation.
Staff Sergeant Chris Bevins, Kunsan Air Base, Korea.
Staff Sergeant Danny Yager is one of many airmen at Kunsan who perform their duties under high-tempo exercise conditions. That was your Around the Peninsula for Thursday, February 13th. From all of us at AFN, enjoy your evening.
On June 2nd, 1951, Charlie Company, 24th Infantry Regiment, was attempting to take Hill 543 when the platoon leader was killed. Wounded, Sergeant Cornelius Charlton assumed command and led his company on 3 charges, eventually taking the hill. He was fatally wounded during his final charge, where he destroyed an enemy mortar position. On March 12, 1952, Sergeant Charlton was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor and will forever be a proud part of Black military history.